once without taking a shit today.
Yes, dude. Best way to start.
Sweating so much just sitting here talking. I'm dinged up today, my friend. Oh, mama.
Yeah, we don't have to do the full 2, dude. If it's gonna
I'm here now. I'm fucking.
You're here.
I've already fucking puked up my coffee in my throat a couple times this morning. I'm ready to go, bro.
You're here and queer and getting used to it. Yeah, dude, we are. This is a much more banged up Drag the Lake than normal. We'll wait while everyone gets into the fucking chat. But
if you're watching,
honestly, don't.
Are you guys taking the day off too? Cool.
But yeah, if you're watching them,
because it was drinking. I wish it was because of the holiday and all those fucking Irish bitches and everything, but none of it.
Well, that's the worst. That's the worst part. I was, we were talking about this on No More Heroes. Oh, to let people know, I have enlisted. I couldn't figure out the right groove on No More Heroes, and then I was like, you know what? Let me see if Pat's up for the job to help out little old ADHD Andy. And Pat said. Yes.
Potato.
I don't know. I have nothing. Andy. And I said, Pat, did you? And you're like, I had a stroke. I'm sorry. Did I say potato again? Dom's been really telling me I say potato way too much. I think it's the stroke.
I started calling my cat Potato.
But yeah, sorry if you're watching this live. Sorry for the late start. We while being banged up, my computer was acting retarded. So there was a little bit of a late start, but. If you guys want a little bit more content, a little bit earlier in the day, hop over. We'll hop over to my Rumble. 11 a.m. We'll be going live with some No More Heroes, and then when we wrap that up, we'll mosey on over here and talk a little bit more music and stuff. But before people get in the chat, one more thing about like being hungover.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious. Like I'm curious. What's your one? What is your... Well, okay, let me just say my thing. I'm clearly asking a question so I can talk. No, because I've been... A lot of times when I'm like drinking and then we'll stop at like... There's a Quick Check right by our apartment. We'll stop there. Quick Check, normally, dog shit. In my drunken stupor, got a meatball sub. Exquisite. Horrible chicken tenders. They were horrible chicken. Here's my thing. If you're going to have chicken tenders and you don't have a fryer, just don't have chicken tenders, man. Because it was the like floppy chicken with the breading that the second you touch it, it's all on your fingertips. Now I was hammered, so I didn't care. I just wanted food in my face. But yeah, Quick Check, normally ass, meatball sub was good for what it was. And then I always love, this is actually why I kind of like Quick Check. Wawa, they got great tea, but like Daddy wants his Arizona. And Wawa's never has the Arizonas. And like, so inevitably you get hammered and people, it's always like the cruel joke of drinking so much because you're like, all right, I feel like shit, but at least I'm going to go fucking sleep forever now because I'm so fucked up. Right. And then your body goes, it's 3 hours after you fell asleep and you didn't drink any water, so now we're dehydrated, so we're going to rocket you awake.
Yeah, wake up.
Yeah, wake up. and then get ready. You're going to wake up every hour after that with your mouth being super dry.
It's seriously, I have not been hungover since we were just talking about it on No More Heroes, but I hadn't been hungover in so long that recently with the Mutoid Man show where I got to cut loose, I like my normal remedy for like if I do wake up with a really bad hangover, something that usually kind of gets me right back into like at least just feeling like normal shit. You know how like weird like my stomach feels empty, my fucking everything is usually greasy junk food. Greasy junk food.
Yeah.
Day after. I usually don't do it the night before, but I'll do it the day after. That usually brings me back up to like soaking up all that bullshit and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like shit, but I don't feel like as sick or sickly or anything. I'm never a hair of the dog guy. Can never do that. If you talk about drinking to me the next day when I'm hungover and they're like, hey, have another beer. I'm like, like I couldn't. I can't.
I could theoretically do the hair of the dog, but I go, it's just going to prolong the inevitable. So you're like, why would you?
Right.
You're just like, and then you have to deal with, well, also too, hair of the dog. Now you're day drinking again, and you're
Yeah.
like, well, I probably have shit to do later this evening. Well, not hopefully, probably.
Yeah.
I have shit later to do, so let's like, it's because that's the thing. People always go like, "What's your hangover cure?" And it's like, there's no real like hangover cure. There's just mediating the hangover to not feel so bad. I gotta be honest. This is we're not getting paid to say this, dude. Liquid IV and like there's some that'll be like these hydration packets that are just, they might as well be like a little fucking stick of Kool-Aid. Like you're not really getting that hydrated from them.
Yeah.
But no, the ones that specialize it, they're gonna work when they taste a little off. Like liquid IV, liquid IV's good, but it's a little off, and that's when they have the actual shit you need in there.
Yeah.
So like I'll put my whole weight behind fucking liquid IV. I've had that shit, and then you take it the next day. Like the best time to take it is right before bed. You sort of counteract that because then you can get a better night's sleep, and it sort of can take care of that. But realistically, and this goes back to me talking about the Arizona, dude, I gotta be honest, like the older I get, like, bro, water can suck my ass. Just straight water sucks dick.
I don't know.
That's why these hydration packets save my goddamn life.
There's something about I've become one
also,
of the.
hi Aaron.
Oh, hey, what's going on, Aaron? I've gotten to be one of those people that brings the water bottle around with them everywhere, just in case, kind of thing. And
it's not a bad call.
But I also wait until I need it. You know what I mean? Like, so I won't necessarily just drink it all the time, but like when I get that feeling or something like that, it's so nice to have one of those Yetis.
Yo, but for real though, staying hydrated is a little overrated, dude.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, then I just pee a lot.
It's just pissing. You're just spending your day fucking pissing.
Yeah.
Oh. What are you saying over here, Aaron? I'm happy I got a local gig for a local music magazine to review bands and do local shows, and that's actually fucking.
Dude, that's fucking
sick.
Great. Yeah,
that's great too, because it's like I'm assuming that seems like a very specific job, so I'm assuming you're doing that because you want to, and it's like. Especially if for me personally, the one thing keeping me away from always doing something like that would just be I'm not good at like sitting down and writing and shit. But like if you're into writing, like you go to the thing you like to do and then you write. It's like, all right, now tell us how it went. Now you get to like write excitedly about it. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, I think that's really cool to find, because that's really what it is you can find your dream job. Usually you can find your dream job pretty easily. And like something like that, where like, dude, I'm just glad that it's a human being that wants to go out and review and talk about and write about bands, because they do that so much now with fucking AI articles where they'll like put out something just to get them out in the fucking algorithm and shit like that. So it's nice to actually have a human opinion, something that can like, because I and we do it when we talk about like the Every Time I Die records. We've been doing the playthroughs, the full album reviews and everything. Like, it never fails that every once in a while I just get this little mini panic attack of like, who the fuck cares what I think? But then I'm like, I do. I think this is great, and I have really strong opinions about it. And I think there's a cool thing when you put yourself out there and write, especially writing, because at least we're saying it in our voice. People can read writing in any tone that they want. So get ready for a lot of hate mail and love mail.
Well, I think doing the reviews, it's almost not even like who gives a fuck about this. It's almost just like I just want to tell you guys about this stuff, because I think that's where I don't know. This might get a little bit esoteric in psychology or whatever the fuck, but like I honestly look at certain shit like that going like, it's probably better to not sit around and go, how do I help the world?
Right.
Because I think a lot of times when people are sitting around just being like, how do I help people and help the world? And they end up doing it for much more surface level, vapid reasons. And they may think they're helping, but I think it's a lot of times they end up not doing nearly as much help as they would like to. It's like the perfect one when, a new humanitarian crisis starts trending, and then everyone goes, well, go donate to this, and you donate to it, and you're like, yes, I've paid my good person fee. And then, you look up you look any of these fucking like NGOs or charity organizations, like there's a handful of like really good ones, but most of them when you look into it, you're like, "Oh yeah, I gave them $10 and probably 50 cents of that goes to who it's meant to help." And whoever it's supposed to help is probably going to whatever goods that's paying for, it's probably going to get intercepted by a warlord anyway.
Yeah, I think with this, like it's cool because now you get somebody who is a fan of the music actually giving a perspective, because that's really what it is. It's not like somebody like he's saying here he's getting the new, I think, Filth and Boundaries
Filth, yeah.
albums to this week to review. That's cool because now it can be from like I feel like that's another thing too, is like most music publications or most websites or something that will just have a reviewer or something like that. They need to have like more specific, like fans should do more reviewing, because if they're willing to be honest, that it's going to be a more sincere review than just somebody that's like, I've never really heard of Filth before, but they're pretty good. You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
I
and
doubt they'll like they'll give that opinion, but it's sometimes it's a little bit better to say like, because I feel like fans, depending
yeah.
on what kind of fan they are, will hold them more accountable. You know?
So yeah, yes and no, because like I agree with you 100%. I remember one of the big things that made me want to like do podcasts and like interview musicians and shit like that is because, bro, all the time you'd see you don't see it as much because you don't see it as much now, but like back in the day you'd see these like big music entities like a magazine or something like that, and they'd send their fucking random intern to go interview these people at festivals and shit. And you just have people like, bro, it's not even that like they like obviously it would be preferable to have someone that's into that type of music, but it's more so it's like, dude, you're hiring all these people that just want to go to the festival and hang
Yeah.
around famous people. When it would come to the interview, you're like, dude, do you even give a shit about doing a good interview? The questions that in a lot of these things, the questions they would ask would have just zero fucking substance to it, and they'd always ask this. You know what my favorite question is? My top two favorite questions you always see go, how's the tour going? And you're like, what are they going to tell you? Or that one's even, I'll even give them that one. I'll even give them that one because that's a conversation starter. You know what I mean? It's like when you go up to someone and go, how have things been? Like most people aren't going to go, pretty horrible, actually. Like every day's a struggle. Most people are going to respond and go, yeah, everything's been good. How you been? So I'll give them like how, but like whenever they go like, how's it been? Like what's the studio like right now? It's like, they're only going to tell you it's awesome. So just skip that stupid
It's
fucking
it's wasting everyone's time. Yeah.
But then on the flip side, I will say, because thinking about remember when we were trashing Green Day and you'd see some of the most unhinged comments, you'd be like, this is probably the best music Green Day's ever put out, and you're like, you're mentally ill.
Yeah.
So you gotta find that happy medium where you don't get too hardcore, you don't get like fanatics. You can have fans, but people who aren't fanatical, because when you start getting fanatical about stuff, then your thing is more like a team. And when you support a team, it's like you see anyone who's too hardcore into any sport, they love their team. So when their team's doing bad, they're like, dude, they gotta fire this guy. He did one bad thing.
Yeah.
He did one bad thing today. And then when they're doing good, they're like, I've always believed in him. Because it's a team mentality.
Yeah.
The ending, you've already decided the end, and you're filling in the middle. So I think proper news journalism is finding that happy medium between those two things.
I ran into an issue I did press for Camp Anarchy one year in Ohio, and when you're given press passes or whatever, like you do have to give some kind of credential. You have to sign up. You have to like give information and everything. It's not like you can just say, "Oh, I want free passes for a show," because I really did think at first, "Oh, that's brilliant. We'll get free tickets to shows, and we'll get to talk to the people, and like we'll get content and this, and all we have to do is just convince them that we're press," which we are. Technically, this is because that's what justified most people doing podcasts during the pandemic, was they're like, it's a news show. It's actually important. We need to do this. And it's like, yeah, loophole. Technically, we are.
What do you mean loophole?
What do you mean?
Oh, you said doing podcasts during the pandemic.
Well, the thing where like when people weren't allowed to get together, people were still getting together because they were under the guise of doing it through like news or something like that.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
Like
saying.
so we kind of did the same thing where before the pandemic, we actually used that to get into Camp Anarchy, which is like a 2-day.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize. I'm so fuck the government when you were just like you were like loophole and I was like fuck your fucking
No,
loophole. It's
No,
my
I'm
goddamn wait. Let me do my fucking bit. I'm like fuck your fucking loophole. It's my goddamn right. Like that's literally what was going through my head when you said loophole because I was like I hate the government so fucking much. Anyway, go on, Pat.
But yeah, that was the thing. So we used that. We got to get like press passes and all the information on how to contact like all the bands on the festival that would offer their media contacts, right? You would talk to their manager, or you would email this number or whatever to try to set up interviews. Legitimately, every single person we reached out to that way either didn't respond or said no. And I was kind of like, all right, well,
through their press people.
Yeah, and it was like, all right, well, that's strange. So then I was like, why? So then why would you offer this information saying that you are making yourself available to press, if not to do, you know what I mean? Like, because we didn't say like we just kind of approached them the same way. And then I finally got to talk to. I had ended up interviewing the lead singer of Fear, that old gentleman that loved living in the city. And then I also interviewed the bass player from Strung Out.
It's a great song. That song.
They have great songs. It was a great.
That's the one where he goes, I love living in the city.
Yeah,
it's like one of the best. That's like one of the. It's like one of the best parts of SLC Punk.
Yeah. So so like we got to talk to them. We didn't officially interview him, but we officially interviewed the bass player from. He was the only one. Bass player from Strung Out, Chris, was the only one that agreed to it. Everybody else, I talked to the lead singer of Suicide Machine. Sorry, and he said we don't do interviews with press. And I was like, good, we're not press. I said, we're a podcast. We just want to talk. It's not like it's like one of those things of like, it's not I don't know.
That was your response?
Yeah. My point is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Do you think that we're press? Like, do you think we're like, we're talking face to face?
Are you telling me while I'm wearing this press pass, you think I'm press?
But like, it didn't make any sense to me of like, what are you trying to avoid? I said, we're going to talk about like aliens and shit. Like the conspiracy theories, whatever the fuck you want. Like it's a conversation / interview. I guess the thing is,
well, I mean, also too, like this isn't shitting on you. Like he doesn't know who the fuck you are,
right?
So yeah, like you can stand there all day and go like, but I'm like a really cool dude. He's just
that was the
like,
frustrating thing of like, I swear to God, if you just talk to me, you're gonna have a good time. I promise.
Yeah, but you gotta look at like what you're offering him. You're like, all right, we want you to do the thing you hate to do. Also, this will only benefit our podcast. It will not help you.
Right. It's not gonna help you even a little bit.
So it's just that's why, like, dude, like that. I commend you for fucking getting the press passes and just because that shit gives me so much anxiety because I'm like I'm just going around to people going like, can you do something for me? It's like. Yeah, it's just would make me. I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm just saying for me, that's like I would just go like, oh, I'm just gonna try to make the pot. But that's like what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take your shot.
Sure.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure because I'm at Camp Anarchy. If I'm supposed to be like, hey man, I just want to talk, bro, or if I'm supposed to be like, hey, I'm Pat, I'm pressed. What makes me look more like? Do you want me to look more professional, less professional, or do you just not? Because then that was my point. Why are you saying that, yes, we'll talk to press if you're saying we don't want to talk to press? That was my thing of like,
what do you mean?
We got a list of everybody that was making themselves available to press in interviews. And that's the only people we contacted. So when we're contacting you and you're saying we don't do interviews or press, I have to ask, then why'd you give us your information? Like that would be my thing of like, I understand them not wanting to give me anything, but it ultimately, what I'm saying, Aaron, is look, don't expect you will not be considered an equal ever. if you are in music press, they will just say, hey, we don't know who you are. Like who?
Well, no, you gotta
music press.
What?
Who can you name that does like reviews or stuff like that besides us?
Reviews?
Yeah. Or any of this stuff. Like where I'm saying like legitimately you're saying he doesn't know who the fuck I am. Yeah, I don't know who any music reviewers are.
What do you mean?
I personally don't.
What? There's so many music reviewers.
Right. I would like to hear a couple names.
Well, I mean, like anyone who works for big magazines like Spin or fucking Pitchfork or Enemy or whatever. Like
Right.
it doesn't matter what your name is there. There you just have to like give them your credentials, and they'll just be like, oh, you work for a giant magazine. And then there's Anthony Fantano. There's a dude who's big in metal called Nick Nocturne. He gets like, dude, he does shit with Will Ramos of what's his fuck? I don't listen to them. I know they're huge, but I don't listen to them. No, Pat, there's plenty of huge.
But that's
plenty of huge reviewers.
I don't know. I didn't know any of those names. I didn't know any of the people like in particular. So like, I guess is that it just sucks that like even starting out, if you want to like, it's just like a hit or miss thing. Like I said, like I didn't plan on getting an interview with the bass player from Strung Out. That was just the only guy that agreed to talk to us.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, this is what people don't want to accept about like, because it feels dirty when you say it, but like so much about human interaction is so much more transactional than people realize.
Yeah,
but like the thing is, it's like that's okay, because when everything's a little bit more, because everyone thinks about like, ooh, big scary capitalism and evil corporations and like it's like no, it's like, what can you do for me? And we're all like going out through the day being like, oh, I have this skill. How can I help people with that? So bringing it back to what I was saying earlier, it's like, I think a lot of times it's just when you're a newer entity, you more have to, it's focus on being good and just hopefully you get that like lucky moment. And if you kind of shoot your shot enough times, eventually the failures won't matter because you had enough successes that will build into a bigger success and stuff. But yeah, I think a big part of it is just a lot of people at that shit going like, I don't know who you are. Most musicians don't seem to like doing interviews in general. You know what I mean? I think like when we got that interview with Tyler, it was because he listened to our shit and he was like, these guys are funny. And I think Tyler's like the rarity for a lot of musicians. And also too, not to be this fucking guy, but in the current where you got every fucking punk band sounding like every song's making Joe Biden talking points. We're in an environment where it's like that, and that's like a big thing why I like doing this podcast, because I hopefully want it to get popular so we can just be like, hey, there's another way to view this shit. You don't have to just be locked into all this like corny bullshit because that's what annoys me about music right now. It really does seem like you have to be locked in. There's no sense of like, people can have different opinions, and it's okay if your opinion's different. It's kind of like, wait, you don't, like it's like during COVID when some bands were like, hey, maybe some of this shit's kind of gay. People were like, actually, you have to love how fucking gay this is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going on a rant. But yeah, I can't wait until 6 months from now when you bring up. I was surprised you didn't bring up Lars Fredriksson ignoring you again.
I specifically didn't, because I took that 100% personal.
Yeah, to this day,
100% personal. And it's not the only time you left me on red.
Yeah, you gotta let that go, dude.
It's not your red receipts off there, bud.
What?
I said, because guess what? One of the people I can beat up, definitely Lars Fredriksson. We talked about that in No More Heroes.
We talked about
beat him up.
He's probably gonna play dirty though.
I don't care. I'll rip every one of his tattooed fingers off.
Yeah, but he's playing dirty, and you're not gonna be ready for it, dude.
Well, he won't be playing at all because I'm gonna break his hand.
Yeah,
I let you.
But yeah,
that
was fucked up. That famous punk rock star didn't respond to your message.
Punk rock star, listen to you. That's the punk rock star. Ugh, famous punk rock star.
You're on the defense. You're insecure right now. We talked about this on No More Heroes. I'll do this whole fucking episode.
I know.
Yeah. Play your game mind games, Pat. How you been though? What's your fucking deal?
You?
Actually, speaking of Tyler, we did recently celebrate Capra Thursdays.
Yeah, I wonder if they did that on purpose. specifically picked Philadelphia on Thursday because of us.
You really think you're in the Truman Show? I just
I really
realized that. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
It's not called the Truman Show though. It's Pat.
You're in the what?
It's a Pat show.
That's what it is. You were like, you saw Lars Fredrickson not responding to you, and you're like, that wasn't in the script, Lars. They wrote respond and do my interview. That wasn't in the script, Lars.
Yeah, it's yes or no. A yes or no question constitutes a yes or no. But
exactly.
I'll get it from him one day.
One day.
That's a promise.
But yes. Also, Merry Sunday, John Wayne Charms. Is that your name, Johnny Wayne Charms?
Johnny Wayne Charms.
Happy fucking Sunday.
We celebrated Capra Thursday in Philadelphia with the wonderful band Capra, as well as Morbid Cross.
Oh, yeah, let's bring that up. I believe Morbid Crosses. Yeah. And then Bankrupt.
Yeah, that was the other one. The where you pointed out their merch, and I realized this. It's not just that band. Almost every hardcore band, it seems.
That must just be like a style.
It's a thing now. The little ninja cartoon looking guy. He's got a little hood on.
Kind of looks
like a Klansman.
Oh yeah.
To be honest with you, I know he's trying to look like a thug, but he looks like a Klansman.
Maybe they're dog whistling.
Dog whistling, are you?
Yeah, that's what you say when you don't want to. When you don't want to give when you don't want to give good evidence of your point, you say they're actually dog whistling.
Yeah, that's another cool word that we. So there's also dog whistling. So there's Capra Thursday. Hold on, God damn it! Oh my God, my brain's frying. Tsunami. That's what I was trying to think of. Jesus Christ! I know that they're trying.
The diarrhea from your burritos is going to your brain.
It's going up. It's starting to work its way up. No, I've realized this since even just seeing those guys. Like a couple other bands in my Discover Weekly since then. Actually, a couple of these other bands have that. It looks like the same little cartoon guy. So I don't know if it's the same.
That's a I've actually there's this one dude. There's this artist I follow on Twitter that I would love to get him. Oh, hell, Jesus fucking Christ, they're listening to us. That's crazy. Pat, what? I opened up Twitter to find you this artist that draws that like hoodie guy. Dude, I open up Twitter and the first fucking thing is the artist Twitter and it's a hoodie guy. I will say I like a lot of his stuff. I found him randomly because I guess he was doing merch. And posters and album artwork for bands. John Mon _Jo. And his name was funny. Usain Bolt thrower. But yeah, he's done a lot of imagery for hardcore bands. But yeah, I didn't realize this. But yeah, I think the fucking hoodie guy is a thing that a lot of hardcore bands utilize because I've seen him draw this guy for multiple bands. I've seen a lot of bands utilize it. But yeah, because that was our thing originally. That was our thing originally with when we saw Bankrupt. Because shout out to Bankrupt, they're a Philly hardcore band. They're very fucking good. But then immediately we looked at it and we're like, that's Tsunami though. Like your whole thing is Tsunami. But then talking about it now, we're like, oh, maybe that's just a thing. That you like, you go like, you kind of signal to people like, oh, if you have that bubble spray paint lettering, you signal to people like we're an ignorant beatdown band. And I'll be honest, it's like, yes, fucking, you could signal that to me because that's why I the second they started playing. You weren't there yet, right? Yeah, you missed that, which I felt bad about because I was like, dude, Pat would love these guys, dude. If he brought his Tsunami knife tonight, he'd be going fucking nuts in the pit. And could
have brought it.
yeah. You can bring your knives in the Kung Fu necktie. Don't do that. Legally speaking, don't do that. We're not encouraging anyone to do that.
You're not supposed to, but you can.
We're not encouraging anyone to.
Right, but if you want to, go for it. You know, it's America. Don't pull it out.
But no, they were going in. They were doing like some Tsunami-esque shit. Major props to their lead singer. So they were like the opening band. It was also a small venue. Smallish crowd and stuff. So it was at that like the density of the crowd was at a point where it it took someone. It took someone to take a leadership role to start the pit. The pit wasn't organically starting. It needed that one person to go, "Hey guys, it's okay to pit."
Yeah.
You know, it was that level of light starting out the show. But people enjoyed the hell out of them. You saw a lot of head bobbing. People were having a good time. But like I gave so much props to their lead singer, because I got to imagine being in a hardcore band like that. It's like, you have this intense music, you fucking want people to move their fucking asses, and they're just kind of standing there nodding. It's like they like the band, but you're like, no, I need chaos. Fucking break something.
It's really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, which is just what?
Well, it's hard when there's like, it's weird and it's awkward, because it's like when there is like kind of a sparse crowd, especially for the opening band or something like that, but they're really good. It feels weird and empty. It feels like either everything is the pit or nothing is the pit. You know, so unless you're grabbing a table and you're starting to like, it's complete chaos. Other than that, it's just like, it's like, it turns into like a couple of guys. It's an unsupported pit. You know what I mean?
There's something so like, you're so naked and exposed when
you get pushed, and you almost like might fall into the band. You know
like,
what I mean?
You don't even not even that, when you just like, when you can hardcore dance and you don't even have to worry you're gonna hit someone else. You're like, that's not how this works.
Right.
It's supposed to be chaotic and everyone. So
yeah,
and it really is. It's the same thing that happens. You notice it in comedy. You notice it in comedy too, when the audience is sparse. People,
when nobody laughs. Yeah.
Nobody laughs at your jokes ever. That's the audience's fault, not my fault.
Yeah, it's every one of their faults. Even if there is a big crowd and they're not laughing, it's all their fault.
They're like, they probably have a small crowd mentality.
Can you hear me? It's literally, is this thing up? Actually, can you actually hear me? Excuse me.
You guys aren't erupting.
How about you guys in the back? Are you guys liking this?
Actually, since we're talking about comedy, I did a show on Friday at a Hooters, which
Love Hooters.
Can I be honest?
Please.
As a fan of Babes,
yep,
I love a Hooters, dude. Hooters, great. I can't fathom a man shitting on Hooters. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, don't go in it like a cartoon fucking wolf hitting yourself with a hammer.
Yeah. Don't be a retard or
that's
anything.
Embarrassing.
Come on, yeah.
That's embarrassing.
If they sit at your table, just have a conversation with them. Don't act like you're hitting on the waitress is so weird.
Yeah, and then you turn to your boys and you're like, we can finger him, right? Don't be that guy.
No, don't.
You can, but don't be that guy.
You have the opportunity, but you got to play your cards right. You don't just get to.
Yeah, you got to whip money at her face.
It ain't on the menu. Let's just say.
No, but just, I don't know, man. Hooters eating fucking shitty food, and you just see chicks with fucking awesome butts and boobs out. You're like I get it. I get it. You're supposed to be more refined than that or whatever the fuck, but nah.
No, you know the best part.
I love it.
The best thing about growing up in Florida is that there is also the knockoff ones for Hooters. So we
got those. We got those in PA, dude.
Wing House, and you have there's Wing House, and there's also Mugs and Jugs. Dude, Mugs and Jugs is Dom's favorite restaurant. It's one of her favorite chicken wing places in Florida.
Great wife, dude. Shout out to your wife.
We like how many times whenever the boss would like spring for lunch at Hooters or Wing House, it was always just like they'd have these it was essentially just a strip club, but it was always a situation where it was just like, just appreciate it. Like, and my buddy Talone would always just be like, hey, look at, like, he's like nudging me going like, huh, look at her. Look at
no.
Like,
yeah,
I am
obviously.
God,
like,
damn.
no, you gotta be respectful. It's like when I got a beer and it was the short girl with the perky boobs, and she had like the fucking Kardashian face, just a perfect angel.
Wonderful.
And she walks up, you go, damn, if my wife dies, I'm going to try to woo you so you can ruin my life.
Yeah, my wife,
you know what I mean?
I'm going to disappoint you, sweetheart.
Get ready to also have bad sex.
Get ready to settle every day.
But no, she walks by, you go, sweet titties, can I get a Miller Lite, please? And like, you don't turn it into a whole fucking thing.
Right. It's never anything.
You don't disappoint.
Huh?
You don't disappoint.
I don't disappoint. My wife let me know I don't disappoint.
Hell yeah. That's a good wife lying for you, dude.
I'd like it better if you're watching live.
We need to bump those numbers up.
Bump the nums. Yeah, I think ultimately though, it's like it's a wonderful treat, and you shouldn't ruin it. But you were doing a show at an actual like a Hooters or like a Hooters style restaurant? Are you just saying
Hooters.
they had a comedy show? Really?
Well, it's not as I get the impulse, but they had like a separate room, which funniest part about the separate room, they had a big banner that said "Welcome to the Hooters back room." And you're like,
Oh,
who needs that?
What are you talking about? That then it's definitely strip club vibes.
No, it literally had the vibes of,
it's the Miller High Life room.
It had
it's the champagne of beers room.
It had the vibes of like your uncle with money who got put a bar in his basement. That was the energy of it. No, and like I don't know, man. There's something. I wanted to
fucking asshole. Just turn
it off.
No, it's the cat. It wasn't him. I tried to turn the cat off.
Oh, the cat physically moved the camera.
Yeah, piece of shit.
Oh, okay. But no, and this actually does. I was thinking about this because this kind of correlates to hardcore music and stuff like that. Where do you remember when what was the Florida festival? FYA? It was the one where we were watching the clip of Dying Fetus doing that cover song, and everyone started cheering during the breakdown and shit. But yeah, whatever it is, because I know FYE is the fucking record store that turned into a Hot Topic, basically. Or no, a fucking what's the one with you can get anime shirts in the front and they sell dildos in the back?
Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer's. Yeah, FYE's basically turned into a Spencer's Gifts.
That
Less
little
dildos
poster,
though.
the little poster section in the back with all those hot Playboy posters that got me through a lot of hard times as a young 8 to 10-year-old boy.
Got you into some hard times, if you know what I mean.
Ooh, mama.
But yeah, it's like FYA Fest. And there was a lot of discourse around the lights on vibe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking that because like we're in the Hooters back room, we're in the Michelob Ultra room.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. and it was like a smallish show. Probably I want to say 50 to 60 people.
Yeah.
It was sat really well. Everyone was tight but not on top of each other, so they were all comfy. But because it was in the fucking Captain Morgan private box, it was like there wasn't any, they didn't do like a spotlight. It was just lights on.
Yeah.
But then like but I gotta be honest, you know what it is for me? Because I think I'm a real crowd work heavy guy, and I go in and out of joke. It was actually working out, dude. It lined up perfectly where just 3 times in a row I did crowd work, and I go, oh, I have a joke about that, and I was able to able to just slide into the joke without people realizing it, which was sick. But like, I think for me as a guy who does crowd work and shit like that, I gotta be honest. I'm like, I don't hate lights on. I don't hate lights on, dude. Because I remember sometimes, like, I love doing it. I'm not sitting here being like, I don't want to go do comedy in clubs. Love doing comedy in clubs. Would love to be in there. They have all this money they pay you. It's a great time to do.
And they got those weird stages and the lights and the microphones and everything. It's really cool.
And then there's just like legitimacy you have as a comic for doing that, and other people like
Hooters, but
it's not a Hooters. It's not. I haven't seen many tits like I do in Hooters, but there's something nice about these comedy clubs. I'll say that.
They got something going on.
there is something weird for me because I think I do to interact with the audience more, where you like whenever they have the lights. Now, I'm not saying it needs to be lights on, but sometimes the comedy clubs will have the lights so intense that you barely see the front row, and then everything else is just a wall of black, and you're like, it helps me better to. You're about to make a black joke. If you got it, throw it out, dude.
Black. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, you're worried. I'm not.
I don't want to
I love my walls to be black as hell, dude. That's just me though. That's just me. If you give me a wall, I'll be like, Can we make that a black wall? Because I like black
I
stuff.
prefer walls of Jericho, but that's
You're all out of Jericho's? Well, I'll take a black wall then.
yeah. Thank you.
But no, it's just a wall of sorry. I'll say this so the Florida doesn't flare up. It's just a wall of darkness. No, it's still gonna make it flare up.
Lots of darkness there.
You're like, Andy, there's no way out of me taking this the wrong way.
There's a happy medium to that. Is like you don't have too much lights out in the crowd, and I just bring a flashlight and I shine it on somebody, and I go, "What'd you say? Oh, what do you do for a living?
Hey, what? I was just gonna say that.
What do you do for a living?
Are you fucking married?
Huh? What do you do? This your wife? Is this your wife?" I just do that. Yeah, I think it's just to me, it's like it does take away from the show aspect of it. So the thing that makes like performing at a Hooters or anything, we're not above. I mean, everybody's performed in a backyard or two. Sure, we've been out there on porches and in different fields as well as comedy clubs.
I've been on porch tours with Robbie Bernstein, dude. I'm living on those porches, dude.
It doesn't ultimately, we understand that it ultimately doesn't really matter the setting, but if we are to say, is there an ideal setting for comedy? It is usually a nice soft lit front row or two or something like that. Not too much here, but also like darkness. You have the spotlights here. I'm the focus. I'm the one that's going to talk for a while, and then that's it. Like that. It's like the same thing as a concert or anything like that. If you go to it's like that's the main event. That's the reasons the stage is there, and everything else is because we're supposed to be looking at that. But at a well-lit room or something like that, dude, this is my issue though, is at most I've been, it doesn't necessarily matter the venue or the lighting even, let's just say that, but it's about the flow of the show. I've been to well-lit comedy theaters that they wanted to have an intermission halfway through the show. And I said, why? if it's well-lit, that means that they can get up and move around, right? So if they can get up and move around safely because they can see everything because it's like a goddamn spotlight on the crowd.
Oh, then, you're talking about a theater though?
Yeah, a theater. Like that's what I'm saying. Is like it doesn't make sense to me to have tables set up, to have the lights so far up.
Wait. Are you what theater are you talking about? Because usually they have like the long theater seating. Now, let me make it clear. I think the intermission in a comedy show is fucking stupid.
It's the dumbest thing.
But with theater seating, you know, like if it's like a movie, what?
So it wasn't theater seating. So
okay, that's what I was, because you said theater, so I was assuming it would be like theater seating, because that you can't have people walking around. But if there's like tables and shit,
yeah, they bring out tables. So what it is this place in Lidditz that was putting on comedy shows there, not very well. And they would have like tables and stuff like that set out on the floor of the room, and they would bring out this other stage, like to kind of like they would adjust the stage so it wasn't just like, but normally it was like a theater seating with like the rows and rows of seats.
Yeah,
have the house lights almost up, like this nice pink light, so you could see everybody, and would still do an intermission. So I'm like, I don't understand the point of that at all. What about if somebody goes to the bathroom? Like it's no different. The bar's all the way over there. Or if you don't have a wait service. So essentially it's the setup of the show does matter.
Can I ask you a quick question?
It's just preference, I think. What?
How long was the show?
Like 6 comics, like 5 or 6 comics.
So how much time were they doing?
I don't even know. It was like 15 to 20 minute sets, I think, for them. Like they would split it up or whatever the host would. And this was one thing they did learn.
Wait, 6 comics doing 15 to 20?
So it'd be like 3. It'd be like a show, the first hour of the show break, then the second hour of the show, basically.
Oh yeah, you just gotta. I mean, you just can't have a show longer than an hour.
You can't do it.
Like hour. Wait. Longer than an hour, hour 45. Like just the whole. Once someone starts doing comedy, the show really should be over within the next 90 minutes.
Yeah. Once you start the show, when it is over is when the last comic goes. Like it's not like, okay, we're gonna take a little break and everybody can go get drinks or what. Like it's
what I'm saying is, you're saying there's fucking 6 comics doing 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like you should just not. That's too much,
right? Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's like when you heard about, you know, when fucking Dane Cook and Chappelle were doing their fucking like 4, 5, 6 hour sets. You're like, Dane Cook and Chappelle rule. I would love to see them do stand up. I would after the second hour's over. I'd want to kill myself.
Yeah, I'd be like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like it's
This
because you're
doesn't
not even
need
going
to
to
happen.
remember that much. You're not going to be able to actually absorb any of that.
Yeah.
Really, ultimately, after 3 hours, you're just going to be like, man, wasn't that closing joke really funny? What else did he say? Did he say anything else? He said everything. He said everything because he was talking for 3 hours at the end of the show. But I think it's just preference. I guess that's a long way to go around to say, like, there's different ways people have put on shows, but like ultimately I've learned outside they suck. I hate outside shows, but they can be fun. Well lit shows, they usually suck, but honestly they have their benefits because, like you said, you can see more of the crowd. If they're each one of those has a benefit, but the intermission in the middle of the show, there is no benefit, and if you do it, you're fucking stupid. That was my point. There is everything is except for that. That's wrong. You're wrong.
The intermission is
hey, everybody, cool out for a minute.
The intermission, yeah. Hey, let's just reset all this good momentum, because it'll be like they'll do the intermission. They'll be like, yeah, go to the bathroom, grab a smoke, or what. And you're like, you can do that whenever you want.
Yeah, it's this is America. You can leave the show if it was theater seating. If I wanted to get a beer halfway through, I will go do that. I will stand up and I'll go, excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Just like if you're at a movie theater, they don't have an intermission at a movie, even if it's fucking Dune. They don't have an intermission.
They really should, though.
They should. That's a good place to have an intermission.
That was let me ask you this, because there's been a lot of debate over whatever fucking, and we'll get back to Capra Thursday.
We know we get sidetracked,
but there's fucking I mean, we're on episode 74. They know what this fucking podcast is.
Guys, you watch,
but no, there was a lot of discourse around whatever that last Scorsese one was, where it was like Flower Moon, we're gonna fucking rape this Indian movie, whatever it's called.
Oh boy, they really did.
That's what I heard. I'm surprised I haven't watched it yet.
No intermission either.
But and they would be like, there'd be like, because I saw a bunch of people taking the position of like, well, what, like, just stop being a fucking baby. It's a piece of art. Just watch the fucking movie. And to that, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. Scorsese's the best. Like, he's the best. Go watch Goodfellas. Go watch fucking. Did he do Casino? Yeah. He's the fucking best. Like, he's great. Irishman.
You're right. They're all great. You're right.
That kind Irishman dips. Right. Irishman dips into a little bit of what I'm saying too, but like, you know, like, didn't he do the Departed? But it's just like, I don't know, man. I know you want to feel like a fucking smart movie buff who's a little just like, you know, I get the art a little bit more, but I don't know, man. After a certain point, like the same thing I said with like Chappelle, like Chappelle fucking rules. But if Chappelle was like, you should sit still for 6 hours while I perform, right? Like, there's something about Scorsese going like, no, this is good enough for you to sit still for 4 hours straight. Yeah. And I gotta be honest, I haven't seen the movie yet. Everyone I've heard talk about it always say it's too long. Everyone said it's too long. And I don't think you're uncultured swine because you don't want to sit for fucking, and then people will be like, well, if you're watching it at home, you can just pause it. I go, I know you can, but it's Scorsese with putting out a 4-hour movie rather than a fucking limited series like some people fucking do, who aren't like up their own fucking ass. You know what I mean? Like putting out the movie that's 4 hours with no breaks implies Scorsese is saying, this is good enough for you to sit fucking still for 4 hours. And that to me is pretentious as shit. I mean, good, you know what I mean? It's like, you made all the best fucking movies, but suck my dick. The Irishman was boring at times. It shouldn't have been that fucking long. And I can put a lot of money on the fact that this movie doesn't need to be 4 fucking hours.
I will say that The Irishman, the first like hour and a half is terrible. It's completely useless. And the last like 2 hours or so is a great movie. So like the first half of Irishman is a bad movie, and the second half of Irishman is a great movie. So like there's something about editing. Like, so I can say a lot of funny words, but the best way to construct a joke is to use word economy. And that's the same thing with content. Having content kind of like a limit. Essentially, you have content economy where you can say, like what he's saying with this 3.5 or 3 hour and 45 minute, whatever the fuck it is, any of these movies, any of these people, they're saying there was nothing left that we could cut. Everything in this movie was absolutely a priority. And then you see fucking Robert De Niro as a 87-year-old man going beating somebody up and stomping on somebody, and you're like, why? You're not even near him. You could have used a double. There's so many things that I'm watching a Scorsese movie going, you can do that better. There's such other, I know of a better way to do that. So like I understand that, but like ultimately, like at a comedy show or anything like that, where it's a performance, a live performance that's not Broadway, yeah, you could have an intermission. That makes sense. But like anything else, it doesn't make sense why they don't have more intermissions or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
the
pause it at home. And not only that, but also we've been conditioned over the past couple of years as content intakers. Like we're people that realize you can watch a 6 episode limited series thing and go, that could have been a 3-hour movie. You didn't need 6 hours of this. Or you can watch a 3-hour movie and you'll be like, God, I would like to see a fucking 4-part series of this or something like that, where we are conditioned to go, like, we know the information we're taking in and we know what we are enjoying from this. If you're showing us the story of Killers of the Flower Moon is a very interesting story, but the way he told it was just like, yeah, I just read the story.
Yeah,
like,
I heard.
I don't have to see this. Like,
I heard
all of this.
Yeah, that's what I heard everyone say. No one said it was a bad movie, but literally everyone said it was too long.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that makes you fuck it, dude. Because like people get all, you see it in music too so much, where you see with like, because I'm a guy, I get annoyed when people are like, jazz is fucking stupid. And it's just like, dude, don't be that guy. You hear a trumpet and you're like, that's the dumb stuff. That's the fucking big band bullshit. You're like, no, dude, come on. Listen to it. There's a lot of jazz out there that's fucking great. It's fun. I get it. If a lot of it feels a little corny because everyone always goes to like some fucking hello my baby, hello, and you're like, yes, that stuff's stupid, but there's a lot of fun stuff.
It's about the notes you don't play. It's like notes
Yeah. But it's like, let's be real. There's a lot of great jazz out there, and but also at the same time, you get into deeper into like the avant-garde shit. And I've heard some of that avant-garde shit. And I've read like one thing I pride myself is before I give something a definite, this fucking sucks, I give it the old college try. And then I'm confident to be like, yes, this actually does fucking suck. I took the time to really try to like, let me get myself in the headspace of some dickhead who actually likes this. And I'll even give the avant-garde shit a pass because we've talked about it before with like some of the mathcore and shit. You're like, hey, I appreciate the effort. I'm glad for artistic reasons. I'm glad you're doing this. But what the fuck is going on, man? What the fuck did you just do? And there's I listened to some avant-garde shit and you're like, bro, this is literally just 4 people doing something at a separate time. Yeah. And then you're just being like, well, it's too highbrow. You don't. No, it's actually just bad, man. It's just bad.
I feel like so most jazz songs, like it just has, to me, jazz in general has a very much drum circle feel. Like, and if somebody that grew up in Florida, there's a ton of fucking drum circles on the beach, and it's just a fucking whole mess of hippies fucking just beating on drums and playing didgeridoos and it just sounds like a mess. But they are on the same beat. Do you know what I mean? But it just sounds like this weird thing of like a bunch of white people trying to be tribal. And I kind of feel the same way of like with jazz, like, yeah, if you're playing something long enough, you're going to find something good. It's just jamming. To me, it's just jamming. It's not as impressive to me, but I would never yuck someone's yum for it because I think it would be something fun to play.
Yeah.
But ultimately to listen to, I think there should be intermissions in most jazz songs.
So that's really funny.
That'd be funny to be like, all right, guys, we're going to take a break. And then just like, all right, we're back.
You guys take a piss? You grab a cigarette? So I think that sort of undercuts like what am I trying to say? That undercuts like the different various genres of jazz, like describing it that way. Because there is a lot of it that it's like it's very intricate and it's like very planned out and all this other shit and stuff like that. So I think it kind of like undercuts all these like the vast array of sounds you get. But
Yeah.
I will say, because what you're talking about is like the trio or the quartet, and dude, because I used to listen to it all the time. Well, it's like annoying because it's like some of it's fucking annoying because it's so like formulaic. And it really whenever you talk to people about it, it really leans on to like, it's like that guy. It's like if you ever talk to a guy who's like, nah, dude, just the words come out better when I hit the typewriter. And you're like, shut the fuck up and get a fucking laptop, you asshole. And it's it's the same people who are like, nah, dude, this fucking Minor Threat album that was recorded in the middle of a fucking windstorm on this guy's 4-track is actually like the real raw production. You're like, no, it actually sounds bad. The audio quality sounds fucking bad.
Yeah.
I got off on too many tangents. But no, yes, I will say the fucking trio, because it literally is like every time you hear a jazz trio or a jazz quartet, they play the melody, and then you hear the saxophone solo for a while.
Somebody goes
then
off.
you hear
This guy
you
goes
hear the saxophone solo for a while, then the piano solos for a little bit, and then the drums cut out, and you hear the bass for a little bit, and then the drums do a little do 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 do, and then the whole band comes back in, and they bring back the melody, and you like get the fuck out of there, and you're like, yeah, that's fine for in the background at a cocktail party, but if I'm gonna put that on the way to work, I'm gonna fucking drive my car off of Brooklyn Bridge.
Right. Yeah, I don't think there's any point that I'll like listen to jazz. Like I'll just like put on jazz because of that fact of like it just ultimately it kind of like to go back to our no more heroes conversation triggers me, and it kind of just makes me go like, what's going on here? What can we get to it? Like it's not because it's usually also I really do appreciate instrumental music when I'm writing or something like that. If I'm trying to do something creative or anything, I'll just have instrumental music going on in the background. Even if it's like Animals as Leaders or fucking Russian Circles or Tusk or something like that, where it's like heavy, like melodic shit. And it's just repeated over and over again. It's just something, it's background noise. But with jazz, I kind of get to a point where I'm like, what are you doing? like I look at the stereo at some point of like, get to it. Find the groove, guys. Because and that's just me. I realize that's me. It's like how new a lot of newer country hits me a lot of times where I'm just like this, like, oh my, it just hits a part of my brain that just, it makes it so unenjoyable for me. But I would love to play jazz. Playing jazz is just fun. It's just noodling. It's
very fun to play. Well, and that going back to my original, that style is just noodling. That's kind of like the thing. Because if you actually give it, if you take the time to look into more of the styles, there are some shit. Because like you threw out a lot of those heavier bands and shit. There are a lot of styles of it that will satisfy that area. But on that genre where it is more improvisational, it does get a little exhausting. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. But Capra Thursday.
Thursday. I want to remind people, go check out that band Bankrupt because they had such good energy. And that was the thing I was gonna say too, before we got on that 90-minute tangent. No, I will say I respected the hell out of their lead singer because, like I said, the crowd was kind of doing the like nodding and like, yes, this is nice. This is a very good band. I'm gonna put them on my Spotify like I did.
I followed
him. And then the lead singer was just, dude, he was going like, dude, he was performing like there was 1,000 people out there all going fucking nuts. And that I respect because I've realized, I think this is just from doing comedy for so long, I've lost that energy to be like, I'm going to fucking get these people. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to do a bad job, especially if I'm getting paid. Like, if I'm getting paid to do comedy, I'm going to be like, I'm going to fucking earn my fucking paycheck. But rather than, like, I've shifted in how I do things where it's like, rather than being like, I need their acceptance, I go, all right, this crowd sucks. How do I figure out how do I make lemonade out of these dog shit lemons? You know what I mean? But this dude, I respect it because he seemed young and stuff, and he was just going fucking bananas. Like there was 1,000 people cheering him on, and I really respected the hell out of that. So please go listen to Bankrupt. They were very, very good.
Yeah, like you said, but like from being in like non-traditional venues or even venues that are like not what you feel maybe most ideal for a performance or something like that. I think the way you described how they performed, and I feel like how the rest of the guys performed too, Morbid Cross and Crosses or Morbid Cross and
Morbid Cross, yes.
like both them and Capra also like they just had this like they fucking rocked. They did their thing. Like, and obviously the crowd filled in a little bit more the later. Like I wasn't even there for the first band, so I'm sure other people weren't there yet either.
They just all had a real happy to fucking be there energy, which you like as a fan of this genre, dude.
Well, that's the thing is how many shows have you been to? How many shows have you been to that you've performed at, right? Like even those backyard shows or any of that stuff where you go and there are like 10 people there or 7 people there or something like that, but they're fucking great. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing is like I ultimately I felt bad. I feel like in a situation where like because I think there's almost like I came to this realization. I feel like there's venues much like arenas in like sports. There's like AHL, NHL, or there's like minor leagues, major leagues, like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, most of the ones that I've been to lately have been venues where they have a stage, but they specifically ask you not to stage dive. And I feel like that Capra or a lot of these guys, like they need to be in a venue where either there are no rules, you know what I mean? Or like a situation where like I would like to see them in a like a bigger setting, essentially. Like because again, it's a Thursday night. It's it's probably Kung Fu Necktie. I had never been there. I hadn't heard of the place or anything.
I've heard of it before, but I've never been there.
But like if there was, it would be cool to see them like a packed house like that, like to actually play to all this, like see the same show, but like
watching
go ahead.
Watching Capra, I was like, they have more breakdowns than I realized.
Right.
Like because Capra to me comes off as like a hardcore influenced punk band. So like when they're doing songwriting shit, they don't lay heavily on, let's add this breakdown or let's do this 2-step part and then we'll play really fast and that's the fucking circle pit part. But they kind of have more of their writing mindset comes from a much more punk influence, and then they kind of put this hardcore sheen on it. Yeah. But like they were having these parts that weren't your traditional breakdown, but the tempo of them and the feel of them made it very easy to. You're like, oh, this is a very easy mosh part. And like watching them live, you notice it way more and shit like that.
It was nice to see that when Capra came on, that the pit started to open up. Much appreciated and much due to the work of one Andy Malafarina here as well.
I did. I was the pit general. I got to be honest. It wasn't because like I was initially like because I had the right amount of Miller Lights in me. I even threw a Narragansett in here and there. I had the right amount of liquid courage in me, but I caught myself being like, "Who's gonna start this? Who's gonna start this?"
That's what.
And then we got to like 3 songs in, and I'm like, "Andy, seems like you're gonna start this."
I think you know that. I think you know the answer to that question.
And then it's just I forget what song it was because I'm not good with the. I know there's songs where it's like that's the one that goes like this, and that's the one that has this part, and so I'm really bad with the names of the Capra songs. But yeah, I heard like a breakdown part that hit me the right way. And dude, I gotta be honest, I'm not. I think I'm a sprinter with hardcore dancing if no one else is doing it. Like I definitely got the energy moving, but then it's just like after you do it for like 30 seconds and no one else is doing it, you're like, well, I feel like a fool now.
Well, that's the thing is
you were all supposed to come along with me on this journey.
It was the same thing. So I dealt with this and most of the shows that I've been going to recently. I feel like Mutoid Man, there were people there. There was enough people there. Let's just say this. There were more than enough people there to have a decent pit.
Yeah.
at Capra, at Mutoid Man, at any of this stuff, right? But you have to have enough willing participants, enough people that feel it's necessary.
Yes.
So no matter what, like so it's interesting to be at 3 different shows with again about the same listener base, I would say, or people in their mid to late 30s, if not earlier, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us grown adults drinking beers, going like, somebody gonna start it? Like literally, I had the same thought of like, boy, I just like I want to, but like it doesn't have enough. I'm a real pit princess. I need it. I need the right environment before I. It's one of those things where I'm going to look at it and I'll go, no.
You dip your toe in, you're like,
yeah, it's one of those things.
A little too hot, a little too cold.
Because I've realized my limitations, much like you, where if I go in there and I start it, I'm also going to get winded halfway through, because if I'm doing all the work, I'm going to sit there pushing this girl in the face, push this guy in the face, do this thing, or like trying to get people riled up. And if they don't get riled up, then I just feel like a douchebag. And then I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just stand.
Why, dude? It's so
funny.
It's
awkward just to be like, sorry, I pushed you. Sorry.
It's so funny.
We're all doing a thing.
Oh, I thought we were just in the crowd at a hardcore show. My fault.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought we were seeing a hardcore band, and I thought we all wanted to fucking dance. Like, because when you started going, another fucking 30-year-old dude fucking started throwing it back.
It was that one dude with his bag. The one dude with the bag was like, you could tell he was like, he wanted.
Thank you.
He wanted to go so bad, but he just didn't have that oomph to like start it. I could tell. And then when I went, he was like, "Oh, we're doing this!
Oh, thank God!" And it kind of kept going. But it was like it's one of those things where if you don't have it, it's like a hurricane. I need a strong eye wall for the pit for me to jump in, because I'm a big runner. I'm not as much of a dancer. You know that, Mandy. I'm a big circle pit guy.
Mm-hmm.
There were even less people that were willing to circle pit than hardcore dance. So I figured I'm just going to keep. And also, I don't think I ever did I got so used to drinking multiple IPAs at these other brewery shows that when I go to a regular bar and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll have 7 Miller Lights. And then that, you know what I mean? Like,
ain't nothing wrong with that, cowboy.
But I wasn't feeling it, Andy. My tolerance spiked so much in like just a week or two that like I'm having like 4 or 5 beers and I'm like, I don't have enough of that. I don't have enough of the liquid courage in me to help Andy and also look even more ridiculous than I do, because I just look so silly when I dance. But if I'm running into people, I can run into people. I can run around, push them.
I applaud people who fucking can just do that sober.
Right.
It's like crazy. Yeah. I feel like, because like you, dude, I was about to hit you up. You posted that clip where you see me in a little bit, and I was just like, do not post me hardcore dancing online. I look like a fool.
I cut out the parts that you did look like a fool. Trust me. There were a couple times where there was one where like you just kind of like you bounced forward and then you stopped almost up front and just kind of walked back in, like, and then you charged back into the pit, and I was like, I'll cut that part out.
Yeah, dude, it's a silly endeavor, but it just when you're crushing brews and you just feel it feels good. Sometimes you do weird things. I gotta be honest, dude. I think I might invest in a man purse next time I go to one of these things. Because you know what was really limiting me, dude? You know what was really limiting me? Ever since we went to the Kublai show, I'm like, bro, what am I doing out here in pants and long sleeves? It was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna care about being a fashionista at any of these things, because I look good, dude, in my pants and long sleeves. I had the look, I had the outfit on. But like, dude, I can't go to these things anymore being a fashionista. Yeah. I gotta go for comfort. So I'm wearing the CrossFit shorts and I'm wearing a fucking dry fit, dude. Yeah. I'm going in the pit, comfy wumpy. But the problem is when you're comfy wumpy, the pocket situation is subpar. Yeah. And with this day and age, dude, you gotta go out, you gotta have your wallet, you gotta have your fucking cell phone, you gotta have your car keys. I got a little thing of earplugs in there. And when I'm doing my moves, I'm doing my kicks. You saw me doing kicks, right? I saw you
kicky flicking.
I was doing a little kicky here and there, bro. But I can't. But like, I can't worry about my shit flying. And even if I got zips on the pants, I'll zip it up. But it's like 2 big elephant ears on the side of my hips. I need a little satchel when I'm out there, dude.
Yeah, I got to tell you, there's so most of the shows also that I've been to recently have not checked any kind of security whatsoever. There's no security at all.
Yeah.
Not a pat down, not a thing.
Yeah.
Which,
And then
which was like shows when I was growing up too. Like I was like, oh, I was just expecting there to be something here, but there's probably no reason why you wouldn't be able to bring one of those little satchels in, or God forbid, ask your boy to hold it. I'll hold it for you. You know what I mean? Hey, I hold your stuff for you. I'll throw it right in the garbage.
Well, the satchel's fine though, because that's just they let bitches in with their purses. I can go in with my satchel. You just open up the satchel and go, left the bomb at home, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. There's no guns in here.
And then you go, yeah, that's right. My Kublai knife's in my ass. You fucking idiots.
Watch out for the hole, bitch.
It'd be so funny if I open my mouth and I'm just like, and I just have my Kublai knife. You fucking losers! I'm gonna go stab people in the pit now.
But that's the weird thing, man. You can't have
dude just in the pit, just and then people get mad at you, and you're like, "Oh, we fucking pussies today? We're pussies. I guess we're fucking pussies in this pit."
Fucking goddamn millennials, puss.
Goddamn fucking liberal snowflakes. Oh, I'm a liberal. I don't want to get stabbed. Fucking liberal.
I think there's a weird thing with any of these shows or anything like that, where like if they don't have like some kind of security or anything like that, I think I've also realized, not necessarily at Kung Fu Necktie because I parked a little bit further away, but like there's multiple times I don't even know why I didn't do this. If you hit the merch booth up, run out to the car, put your shit in the car. I had the thing that hinders me the most at most shows is I like to do my shopping ahead of time.
Holding the merch is brutal.
Holding the merch the whole time is terrible. Like I said, the only time it ever came in handy was Guar, and I would actually just put on the shirt and just get it covered in whatever shit they were spraying on you. And then more of a fun.
But that's like a badge of honor,
right? So like, but anywhere else, if I'm like at a fucking MXPX show or something like that, I'm like, I don't know. I don't want a bunch of Christian sweat on this. I want to. I'm gonna keep it.
Get your fucking holy water away from me, MXPX.
Get away from me, you saints.
Tonya had a comment that made me laugh where he goes, "Oh, I thought this was hardcore," and it's like you're like Randy from South Park. Oh, I thought this was. Oh, this was a hardcore show. My fault. I thought this was a hardcore show. I thought I was gonna stab people and we're gonna be so fucking hardcore.
One thing at the August Burns Red show that I remember, the one that you're talking about, there was a. They also sold those weird, like the satchels or whatever, the strings. It's just like basically a vinyl bag.
Yeah,
but it has the strings on it. Like that's something to hold your shit.
Yeah, but then it's just gonna flop the same way. I think actually bringing it back to Capra.
Dance.
It's not gonna let me dance how I want to. Dance. Fuck do I go to the gym if I can't dance properly?
I fucking
I'm just a diva out there like, no, this will constrict my moves.
Hold my wallet, I need to dance.
Honey, hold my wallet, I gotta go out there and cut a rug.
How often does Steph come out to shows with you? Does she not often? Because I'm assuming she doesn't rip it up in the pit either.
No, she doesn't. I don't make her come to those shows. She doesn't really care for that music.
Yeah, I've gotten Dom to be like, she never wants to necessarily go in the pit. She'll go up front, but she won't necessarily go in the pit. So usually there'll be a couple times where I just look at her and she'll go like, and I'll go,
yeah,
take my hat off, my glasses or something like that. It's just better. But I used to, dude, I survived as a young fat dork most of my life wearing pants that didn't fit, and also my glasses
too tight didn't fit or too big didn't fit.
Well, I would have to get too big. Like I would get like a 4X short or something like that, but I would still wear it where I would have to wear my smaller pants. You know how you wear them under your belly and like you have the butt crack and everything. So that'd be another thing I'd be worried about, my butt crack coming out in the pit, but I still did it. I still did it all the time. But now I've gotten to the point where I'm such a bougie little bitch when it comes to pits. I'm like, no, I'm not wearing comfortable shoes. I don't want to. But if I get enough beers in me, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. And but I have also.
You mean there's nothing you can't do?
That's true. That's true too. But I've successfully not broken or lost my glasses, phone, wallet, or anything. Any show ever, it's always been secured in my pocket. So yeah. I always dress appropriately, Andy. I just never necessarily. I don't always get into the right state of mind.
Dude, you got to get in the zone to fucking pit it up. What fucks me up is this is why I also need the bigger pit because I can't.
Yeah.
Bro, I can never figure out the two-step right away.
Right.
It's like it fucks me up every time. I
So my thing,
cannot.
I don't know. I don't sometimes also if I'm not as familiar. This was my first time seeing Capra. I've listened to Errors a bunch of times, but I don't know a lot of their older stuff. So if they ever go like, "Hey, we're playing an old one," I'm like, I know I'm gonna like it, but I don't know the words or where are the parts.
I'm not gonna be able to follow along.
I don't know how to dance right.
And
then you're the only person in there dancing. And then it just looks like, oh, this guy is a weirdo that just comes to dance. He doesn't even know the songs.
I just have to dance.
And then you just go.
Who wants to mosh?
Come here. Yeah, I'll do that.
What other podcasts have big ass knives at the ready?
Capra knife. Just look into it, guys. Just get a Capra knife.
We need a Capra knife, dude. Also the two-stepping. That's another thing where the pockets don't, because you start two-stepping and the pockets start flapping.
Yeah,
that's why I just need to. I was talking to Cap. I was talking to Capra's drummer. Really cool dude. I apologize for forgetting
his name is Jeremy Randazzo.
You have it right there.
A friend of mine. We go way back.
Yes, we go way back to being mean to them online.
Yeah,
but I was talking to.
He was sitting at the bar, and I went over to him, and I just put my hand on him, and I was like, "Hey, man," and he goes, "Hey," and it was just like one of those things. I'm like, "Is he gonna punch me?" I was like, "It's really great to see you tonight."
I didn't think they were gonna be dicks or anything, but it is funny to like be like, we were like. The realities of what you say on podcasts come to fruition. Like you really think about it when you're going to that band show. And you're like, yeah, dude, we were fucking dicks. Yeah, we were like, we might have been right, but we really overstated the point.
Yeah, it was one of those things where like, yeah, maybe, and also I think that was the first time I realized when Tyler was like, no, dude, we all thought it was great, it was funny, and it was like, they're at the venue. It's a pretty relatively smaller venue, again, like you said. So we eventually, I talked to every member of the band at one point or another, whether it be the bass player is great, but there's the lead singer Crow. She was like, "Thanks for coming out." I was just kind of like, "Oh, cool." Maybe she wasn't.
I had a feeling she didn't like us, or she may not have enjoyed the commentary as much as the other guys, because she did not.
It wasn't as like, hey, you guys, it was like, and even the bass player was like, I don't know if he was the bass player if he was with them at the time, because he mentioned something about their old bass player. So I don't know if there's some, like maybe he was, but he was very nice, but also wasn't like, oh yeah, you guys' video was great. Like it wasn't like that. But Tyler obviously was. He's I think he was the one that was ultimately very cool with it. I think the rest of them were also like, okay, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Well, I was just laughing because like the lead and she's not. We're not shitting on her. She's not wrong. No. Like we were.
She's right. Yeah.
We were rude and annoying. But like I was.
We had no right to do that.
It's just fun. It's just as how much we've interacted with the band online. It's like we had Tyler on the pod. It's like she definitely knows about it.
Right. Yeah. There's no avoiding it. Even if it's on social media, she's seen him post a interview with us, or was like, hey, these guys are talking about us, and probably had the idea of like, isn't this funny? And the rest of them were like, yeah, I guess so, man. Like,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, cool. He's saying that I'm in the video too much. That's really cool. Yeah, I like how I'm the one that edited it. Oh, and also, oh, cool. They're and she's like, oh, they're. I tried too, specifically not to comment on her looks or anything like that, but we were commenting on Tai-Tai's look. Is that why she's mad? Were we inappropriate? Were we rude?
You sexualized Tyler.
She didn't beat us up, so. That was a good feeling.
She didn't put a hex on us. She didn't do anything.
But like it was ultimately, I did feel like, I think like you said, there's probably multiple. But the drummer, I'm sorry, I apologize. You were talking to Jeremy.
I was just going back to my Satchel point, because sometimes dudes will do the thing where I can never tell if it always looks like a fanny pack that they just made bigger and they wear around their chest. I think that might be the move for me, is to just have the like chest fanny pack thing. I call
it a storage bandolier, so it doesn't feel as gay. But it's definitely my satchel.
Yeah, that definitely sounds less gay. Yeah. Storage bandolier.
Yeah,
Me
it's
and
like
my friends, I play a lute while we go into the village and sell our trinkets. I get out of my storage
okay, all right.
bandolier.
Hey, next time you ask me to hold your bandolier, guess what's gonna happen? I'm gonna throw it right in the garbage.
Well, you were gonna do that if I had one or not. You forgot that you said that.
You caught me.
You're just you're just trying to get me to. You're just trying to throw
Just
my
wanna throw
stuff in
shit
the garbage.
Yeah. As soon as I see you, I'm throwing you in the bin.
Oh, another interesting. Do you remember, dude? That fucking bathroom felt like an escape room.
Dude, that's a great observation.
Yeah, I just went in it. I was like, this feels like an escape room. But I
I-
was like, and
I
the funny part
genuinely-
was, is like I've also pissed in an escape room.
I genuinely had a little mini panic attack when I like turned around and I was like, where's the sink? Is there soap? Where's the door? I was just like, and I hadn't even been drinking yet. That was just pure dumb.
That was just me being really high.
Yeah. No, I don't do drugs. I don't really do that. I'm not really.
You said I hadn't been drinking. Like you're not constantly high.
I was not inebriated yet. I was just high. And
Andy, I'll have you know, I only took 17 rips off my pen
thank you.
on the drive down.
Thank you. And
Thank
on the
you.
walkover.
And then I had my typical 10 walkover pen hits.
I also realized most venues are pretty lax about vaping too. Like I don't know if they're not like vaping.
The vaping rule really just comes down to if the fucking bar owner. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
It really just comes down to if it annoys the bar owner visually.
Right. Yeah. If they think they hate you, then they'll stop it. But otherwise,
And if you're in Lancaster and or where was it?
Millersville.
Yeah, if you're in Millersville and you have obnoxiously low ceilings, and I happen to blow vape directly into your smoke detector, it might go off.
Maybe.
And then you'll be a baby about having to stay at work later after a very long day. You'll be happy to see me for the first time in years and realize this was a mistake.
And hate that I was here. No, I think basically everybody I talked to in Capra, all the bands really, like I didn't really talk to Morbid Cross that much, but we got to talk to a little bit.
I was very drunk talk. Dude, I like going to fucking. Dude, I love going to fucking shows and just being a fan.
Yeah.
Just being a drunk, retarded fan. Just being like, you guys are so fucking good.
Right.
Oh my God, you played all the notes so well.
That was really, really tight. Like, and also like I saw it. Like everybody else was cheering, sure, but like I get it.
Ooh, and can I tell you this? I figured out the solution to a very common backhanded compliment people use.
Okay.
Where you go like, I don't normally like death metal or what. I don't normally like this, but when you guys do it, it's fucking good and shit like that. Because you do this like backhanded compliment, be like, the music you make, I generally think it's bad, but you've pleased me enough that I will set aside my, opinion. And I figured out, because I was about to do that, because I don't even think death metal's bad. I just don't listen to it that often. But I was just like, I went up to him and I go, dude, I don't listen to death metal a lot, but you made me really want to like check it out more now because you guys were really good. I feel like that's like, because I hate
compromise, because you're saying like I'm not saying like, oh, you're the exception. You're saying like, oh, maybe I should give him a chance.
Maybe
the whole genre.
Oh my God, Morbid Cross, you've made me learn the folly of my ways.
You've convinced me. You've convinced me to try death metal.
Yeah, dude, I hate
tell you how
that
amazing
shit.
that is.
I fucking hate that shit when people talk like that. You're like, who are you?
You're gonna listen to it now? Wow.
I did that to my one buddy at work because he was like, you know what, Andy? You're a pretty damn good guy. And he said it like with a lot of shock in his. I go, don't fucking compliment me. And I go, don't. He goes, he's like, what? You don't think you're a good guy? I go, no. Don't compliment me in a way where your approval matters.
Right.
Just shut the fuck up. Because I love him to death. Shout out Vinny. But he's just like a 19-year-old moron who just does dumb shit constantly. He's like a good kid, but he's just a fucking idiot because he's 19. It's not his fault. He's fucking 19. Everyone 19. You should be considered legally you could be considered mentally challenged until you hit 25. It's just facts.
Yeah, I definitely was in the middle of my exclusively overdrafting my account phase of my life at that time. So I was definitely dumb as fuck. Like, it was one of those things where I learned that every time that you withdrew from your account when you didn't have any money in it, you would get a $35 charge.
Yeah.
So what I would do is, after the first weekend, after Saturday and Sunday, after payday, and I was broke, I would go, oh, well, how much money do I need for the rest of the week? That's how much I'll take out, and I'll only get one charge.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Also, overdraft. No, that rules. You're a very smart person.
Very smart.
Overdraft fees are also the biggest bullshit ever.
Yeah, yeah, and they're. I would like to say they're predatory, but I'm just dumb. Like, I think it's like, it's pretty simple to realize. If you pull money out of your account that you don't have, except for the fact that when things wouldn't clear, you have to learn that point that things don't automatically come out of your account right away.
I'm talking, I guess if it's like, you have no money in your account and you're like, I'd like to purchase something. It's like, well, no, you should also just be like, you don't have it, so you can't buy it because you don't have it. I'm talking like, you ever get like the overdraft fee because your bank's like, bro, we had to go all the way into your savings account, put it into your checking, and now it's like, dude, that was such a process. You're going to have to give us $40. And you're like, nothing happened. Also, this money's not real. I know.
It's all just numbers.
Yeah, I know enough about economics to know you don't got this in the bank. This is all pretend.
Yeah, how much money? Like, how much money do you think you could actually give people right now? Like, that's the scariest thing when I realize that banks don't always have all of the, like, they don't literally have all of the money they say they do at all times.
If everyone right now at any bank, if everyone asked for their money, any bank, if everyone at any bank went to that specific bank and said, give us all of our money in our account, they could not do that.
That's the scary. Then that's the thing when you're like, okay, so you don't just get to take my money. When you think, like, I have I'm just too lazy. I have a $12 charge every month on one of my accounts for some reason. I have no idea why, but I just don't close it and I don't pay it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, I do end up paying it because they just take it. But it's one of those things that, like, they just make the rules because I don't know how to run a bank. It's pretty bad.
I don't know. I think a lot of our banking systems trusting that people don't figure out it's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I it's one of those things that it is like, it's literally just a Ponzi scheme, because that's what
like
it is, where people take money from other people and then they can't. Damn, that is what it is. I don't think I realized it just now.
Yeah, that's what they're, not the pardon the pun, that's what they're banking on, is you don't realize it's a Ponzi scheme. Because here's the thing, our banking system, as long as you don't want all of your money, it can work. They definitely need to rein it back substantially, but like, it can work. But it's just like, it's what happened with FTX, that crypto exchange, where it was like people were trying to attribute, like, this is what's wrong with crypto. And I go, no, he just ran his bank like a bank. He ran his crypto exchange like how banks do, but he didn't get bailed out by the government. Well, he's probably getting a lenient fucking sentence or whatever, because I don't know. I gotta look into it. I don't know what happened to him on getting what happened as a result from the trial. But it's like, no, the difference between FTX and our banking system is that when FTX fucked up, they just, on the surface, just let him fail. But like, when our banking system fucks up, they go, you guys probably need a bunch of fake money to get to write the reins. And then they go, we do. And then they're like, also, we're not going to write the reins. We're just going to keep it going.
Yeah.
It goes back to like our hangover conversation, like where you're saying like hair of the dog. That's basically what our banking system is. They keep fucking throwing back beers because they know the hangover is going to hurt. And it's like, the hangover will hurt. A lot of people will die, but if you want to get better, you have to let the hangover happen.
Yeah. That's why I always try to not have any money. That's been my plan the whole time. It's not failure, Andy. It's me being smart and not relying on the banking system.
There is a weird pressure though, or there's a weird, not long term, But in the moment, there's a weird sense of relief of when you have no money.
Yeah.
Cause you're like, whenever I have like a decent amount saved up, there's always this part of me going like, oh, you're gonna waste that. You're gonna spend it on
Yeah.
you're gonna waste that on some bullshit. You love to do that.
You're really good. I think no matter what, like I think like it's kind of why I'm obviously I don't want my identity to be stolen, but like if my identity were stolen or somebody accessed my account,
Yeah, dude.
take it. What do you want? What do you want? You can. What do you want? The debt? You can have it. I'm sure I should pay my student loans, but yeah, they're not going anywhere. They'll be there.
I just want that. I want that amount of money where, because there's a certain type of rich where people start acting predatory towards you to try to like get your money,
Yeah,
and shit like that. I just want the amount right before you get on people's radar.
yeah. I just want enough to be like comfortable. I want people to come over to my house and go, "Damn, it's been pretty good around here." Like that. Like that's kind of nice. Like not where you're getting audited.
Oh man. But yeah, Capra Thursday was pretty beautiful. We had
Yeah.
a great time. Shout out Capra. Go listen to Capra. Go listen to Morbid Cross. Oh, we didn't even. They were sick because they were like a death metal band, and they sort of intertwined with the hardcore feel pretty well. I thought that was cool. I was like, I think I told him I was like, you guys are sick because you're like a death metal band you can mosh to, and I really like that. And I really like that they visually matched the band. I said that to you.
Yeah,
They all had. It was making me laugh because they all had long, like they looked like different iterations of James Hetfield.
Yeah.
With like the long hair, and then they're all wearing. They weren't just wearing, because I don't know if it's called. I don't know if it's like it's considered like a tank top, because it's not. They didn't. It didn't have like the swoop in here that a tank top has.
Yeah.
It was just a t-shirt with no sleeves.
Yeah.
And most of them were wearing that, and they all had the long hair, and then they had the drummer, like everyone, the guitarist and lead singer all had the same look, but then the drummer like had a slightly different look, and I feel like every metal band has that. They always have the one member that doesn't visually fit in with the rest, but they fit in with the metal vibe.
Yeah. I think when you look the part, and it's also like, but it wasn't like obligatory. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like they fit perfectly into the death metal look, but also like you said, like fucking ripped. Like it was cool to see. Also, there's something about like a new death metal band. Like when you hear death metal, usually you're like, oh yeah, like Morbid Angel or fucking.
I always think it's like old men too, like grown men.
Old men that look almost exactly the same as these guys, but just
they were all
older versions of that.
Yeah, they were all clearly in their early 20s, and I was like, there's something cooler about a young death metal band.
Yeah, because it just shows potential, and it also shows like they're, like you said, already with them kind of having that mosh feel, and it's not just because it's really hard to say, like it's not like you can't mosh to death metal or something like that, but it just doesn't like you mean more of like the hardcore dance, right? Like the hardcore, like not necessarily like a circle pit, you can kind of do to almost anything. But
well, yeah, and I also have respect for the death metal guys, because death metal is a hard one with a small crowd. Because like talking about how like it's gonna be a lot of push pits and circle pits and stuff like that. Because like when you have like the fucking punching invisible ninjas type of dancing, it doesn't, like the death metal shit doesn't lend itself to that very much.
Yeah. But there was I thought it was a cool mix of I didn't get to see obviously the first band, but if anything, like them mixed with like, it's like all different subgenres of like hardcore almost. You know what I mean? They all have this common theme going throughout, where like Capra is more of, like you said, like a punk hardcore feel.
Yeah, they all fit in very well with each other.
Yeah. So like it's cool to have that kind of genre like mix, but not too clashing. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm excited to see those guys again, any of them, especially Capra, and I'll know the songs more next time, and maybe I'll have maybe I'll drink a little bit on the car ride on the way there, so I'm ready.
Maybe I'll have a little drink ski on the car ride over, just having a fun old evening.
Because I don't normally get too messed up. You know that.
I know that about you, Pat. You keep it locked in, and that's what we like about
my
you.
body is my temple. That's only for frozen burritos.
Oh,
and
dude,
water.
can I show you? I was like, wait, there was something else I wanted to show Pat. This isn't 100% music, but it's like music adjacent.
Mhm.
But it's so goddamn funny. It's so funny, dude. My new favorite thing. My new favorite thing is when someone just posts something just haphazardly online. Just like, yeah, this is like my run of the mill post, and they'll be on like TikTok or something, and then a certain sect of Twitter will just get hold of that, and you just see it popping up over and over and over and over, and everyone's just like, "Can you?" It's just such a funny thought to imagine this kid waking up being like, "What's the news today?" And then this huge section of internet is just like, "You're a fucking dickhead." It's so funny to me. I would never want it to happen to me. I'd hate it.
Yeah, that's generally why I stopped drinking as much as possible, because when I was drinking as much as possible, I would wake up usually most mornings going like, "Uh-oh."
Dude, for me, I still have that a little bit when I drink, because I used to, because you and me sort of, I know you're like 57, but you grew up a little bit before me, but I think for
Grew
social
up on a
media,
plantation.
yes. I was the last man to own slaves.
Sorry, guys.
My
Oh,
bad.
everybody's done? We're all done? Oh.
Oh, that was for everyone.
Sorry.
That was for all the people. Okay, I must have missed that in the
Wow.
rule book.
My face is red right now.
Wow. No, but what the fuck was I saying? No, for real though, we grew up in this similar. You're a little older than me, but we grew up in the similar like social media pocket. So like we didn't grow up. We grew up in that time where you could say crazy shit on social media and it wouldn't come back to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't. But now, bro, shit can go so fucking viral so easily. And I think we transitioned into that social media time where it started to become more of a thing where it's like you'd actually get in real world trouble. Because that was like the heyday of social media. You'd just say crazy shit online and it would just stay there.
Yeah.
And then once I start around college, you started noticing like, oh yeah, social media can have like real world repercussions. This okay. Yeah. I'm sure this won't get substantially worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I built up that like this is when Facebook was popular where I would just get hammered in college and then just go on Facebook and just say crazy shit.
It's not good.
So I have that similar thing you were saying where you're like you wake up and you're like, what did I fucking do? But I've been keeping it pretty locked in. I don't really have that. The worst I did was yesterday at CrossFit. I'm sure you've been paying attention to the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson shit. And the worst thing I had is I forgot I tweeted this, and I woke up today and there's that Mike Tyson training montage, and I just go, this might be the light beers talking, but it'd be funny if he murdered Jake Paul. That's just a good joke.
Yeah,
how I feel.
No harm, no foul. Yeah, I think ultimately there's not really a win-win for anybody in that scenario, but. Yeah, that's not as bad as like waking up. See, so that's the thing is like I haven't had that feeling in a long time of like waking up and being like, oh god, I'm gonna look at my phone, or something like that, like calling, texting exes, whatever, like posting shit like that or whatever. But I haven't worried about anything like going like super viral overnight and making me look like a fucking piece of shit or anything. So,
oh well, this guy did have that worry. Or should have that worry. But yeah, there's this here, I'll just play it. So this was going around, and this guy, he rules at how much he sucks ass.
This and give off like a tough sort of thing going on. And then I cry to Phoebe Bridgers in the shower, and I listen to C Rose and Boy Genius. And the dichotomy is crazy. It's really funny.
Yes.
Who is he talking to? Is he talking to us?
Yeah, he's talking to us. That, and I went through his TikTok, and it's just him saying like, it's this new guy who's like proud to be a fucking pussy. Yeah. But they're like, I'll kick your ass if you say I'm a pussy. It's like he's like, it's this new dude where he's like, I'm a fucking pussy, but I'll fucking kick your ass if you got a problem with it. And you're like, wait, you're you're gonna actively act like a pussy. Just like record a video of me being like, bro, I cried in the shower today. And then if I have any opinion about that, like you're allowed to get mad at me. It's like, no, I'm just identifying you properly. And then there's another layer to it where it's like there's this other new thing because like you're not allowed to be like, hey, you're kind of like fucking fat and ugly. You can't say that anymore. So there's like this new, like normal looking people are making their way into like vapid fashion circles. So it's these people having like hot guy stolen valor. And it's like, it's dudes recording himself saying stupid shit. And everyone's just like, oh, hey, but you're not like a hot guy. So like, this is annoying. Yeah. You have to be scrumdiddlyumptious while you say this, or else you're a fucking dickhead.
The thing is, like we were talking about this on No More Heroes about like the fact that there's a type of person, like if you're trying to be an influencer, you're trying to be a whatever. Okay, there's people that literally just go, here's what I'm wearing today. And it's like, okay, but there's people that like it. Whatever. I'm not going to yuck your, do whatever. But when you're just dressing exactly like a bunch, like you see it all the time with these fucking just normal mid-ass fucking broads that are like, here's what I'm wearing today. And it's just like, oh, that's what literally every other one is wearing. Like that's
like you literally just want people to look at you. Like you're not offering anything to us.
Nothing else. And that's what I'm saying is like, this is what I'm wearing. And then I'm walking outside today. And it's like, that's it. You just, that's the shit that I'm like, okay, I understand if you want to offer something, if you want to be like, hey, I got this. It's really easy to look like everybody else. You can do it by buying $4 clothes instead of $100 clothes. Cool. Then you're offering something. But if it's this where you're like, here's what I'm wearing and I cried today. That's like, well, what are you doing? Who's this for?
Well, and on top of that too, it's just like the part that makes me laugh. The two parts that make me laugh is one, him going like, I have this like tough exterior, and you're like,
you don't, by the way,
like, you don't.
He doesn't look at all tough. He looks
you don't look like you're in that greatest. Like you're verging on skinny fat. You're not in that greatest shape. And as I sit here with my fucking tits flipping over,
fat. But that's the thing is like make a fucking pick a side of the fucking fence. Are you fat or not? We're fat.
Yeah, pick one. And it's like, dude, you don't realize like we've seen this guy all the time. You can tell with your outfit you are very fashion minded, so that's a knock against any ounce of you being tough.
Yeah.
You have all those fucking. I've seen this kid 1,000 times where you have all the solid black art school dickhead tattoos. So that's another knock. That's another knock in the pussy department that you are one. I don't know. I mean, honestly, this probably gets him a lot of pussy. So that's the other part. I will say this: if he's crushing puss, fucking let it be, dude. You know what I mean? I'll never knock a guy for dressing a certain type of way just for pussy, but he's probably not. He's probably trying to trick people into thinking he's deep. But the other part of it is just like, and this goes to like how people are now with fucking social media, where he's like, dude, the dichotomy is just crazy. And it's like,
no,
it's not, man.
No, it's not even a little bit.
Like, you're not even like, this isn't like remotely interesting.
It's hack. It's like, it's hack shit. It's one of those things of like being a sensitive man nowadays isn't crying. Like that's not the crying. It's like being the person who talks about crying makes you the sensitive man. That's the thing. It's like, it's not one of those things of like this dichotomy of where like, I'm such a tough guy and everybody looks at me and thinks I'm so tough. But actually I'm just like a normal, vulnerable guy.
Yeah, recording a TikTok going, can you believe I cry in the shower while listening to Boy Genius, the most popular band right now?
But I look like this? Like, what?
But I also look like a fake pussy?
Yeah, it's yes, it all adds up. And it's also like, it's a frustrating, and to say dichotomy is like it's like one of those things where you're like, do you know what that is?
Well, it's
like one of those things of like, is this truly a fucking dichotomy, or did you put on cargo black pants and a fucking shirt that you just bought? Both of them, and they all look like brand new clothes. Like it's
there's folds in the fucking pants. No,
you don't seem genuine. Okay, so it's one of those things. This it's not the same scenario, but the best example I can give this has calling somebody to tell them you're not talking to them energy. It's just one of those things like when you start telling someone all the things you are, I think that's what you want to be. So maybe you cried in the shower listening to Phoebe Bridgers, but it wasn't because you were listening to Phoebe Bridgers. You cried because of something else, because you're emotionally unstable.
Ooh,
It's
can I
Phoebe,
piggyback?
Deep.
My apologies, Patrick. I was just gonna piggyback what you're saying. Where before I lose the thought, that's why I was rudely interrupting you. But before I lose the thought, no, it's like I think social media is warping people's brains into being like, what character am I for? Because that's where you represent. That's where a lot of people like represent themselves to the world, and they're like, what kind of character do I have to be? And he, without even realizing it, is being like, I got it. I'm gonna be the sensitive, tough guy, and it's like, no, you're cosplaying. You're like it, but it's abundantly obvious you're not that fucking guy.
What, you know what's so refreshing for the podcast that we do, and maybe
nice cold lemonade?
Yeah. Well, no, like the podcast that we do, to not have to start the show by going, hey guys, hit like and subscribe, like that shit. Like it's that.
Yeah, I used to do that. It would steal my soul every time.
And
then podcasts,
but then
you know? Yeah. And then a lot of podcasts just started being like, we'll just start it.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go. I like that new thing with podcasting.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, you can just start it. You don't have to do a whole spiel.
You don't have to, like, they're already here. Like if they like what you're seeing, you hit like and subscribe, sure, whatever. But like you don't have to say that anymore. And it becomes so, dude, you get on one of these like influencers like pages or something like that, and you just like flip through their reels. You know, the one where it's like a kind of creepy music and they have a towel up and then they drop the towel and it's like, or whatever, it pops and then they're in a bikini or some shit.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen those? Like that's Elaine. Dude, I was flipping through this broad's reels and it's like boom, music, boom, same music, boom, same music, boom, same music. She's just doing that thing over and it's just a numbers game. And it's not genuine. Like, so he's probably putting out a bunch of these where like, here's what I wore today and here's what I cried to. And it's like, if there's an audience for it, sure, but what are you really offering?
Dude, I just was talking about this online the other day. So I had this one where the fuck is it?
I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. It's kind of an emergency. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, hurry the fuck up.
I promise.
Go.
Okay.
No, I had this tweet recently that and I'll show it to Pat when we get to it. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. This is fucking great. I love having you all here. Just a reminder, Patty's helping me out with No More Heroes. I'll post my Rumble link because we're kind of bad boys over there. So we gotta go to Rumble. We're free speech fighters. Nah, I don't know. I always feel weird. I feel weird about the Rumble thing just because I know other people will like misconstrue it as like, oh, I'm a right wing free speech guy, and I go, no, Rumble's just the biggest site where they act the least gay, and it's like I remember when we were doing the streams here. Just worrying about your fucking video getting taken down, or like when I would do episodes of No More Heroes, like I thought about it the most when I did that Vegas shooting episode, and then I was like, dude, I can't post this on YouTube, and it's like, then it just makes you feel like a bitch because you have to bend the knee and adjust your bullshit to fucking YouTube. But then it's like, so my impulse is to go over to Rumble, but then when you're over at Rumble, it's like you got to worry about everyone. You have to worry about all the people that give a shit about like looking cool and whatever the fuck. So, I don't know. It's annoying, but that's always my one thing about like fucking Rumble. I'm like, we're not free speech, although free speech rules. You know what I mean? You should want it. But free speech, but it's like I'm not a fucking free speech fighter. I think it's the least lame website. Here's the fucking tweet. Now I just need Pat's dumbass to get out here. Yeah, there he is. Perfect fucking timing. Did you hear me shitting on you?
No. Did you hear me shitting?
Yeah, I have cameras. I have microphones in your house. But no, I found the tweet I was talking about. It was this shit. I saw this was going viral. It was these guys chilling around a table, which by the way, can we stop saying normalize blah blah blah? And you're like, just do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
And
Stop
if
saying
it's
you're
a
gonna
good
do
if it's a good thing, more people will just do it. I hate the fucking normalize do. It's like, can we normalize not fucking
it. Not normalizing.
normalizing things? But yeah, so this video for the audio listeners, the video says normalize going to church, then brunch with the bros to talk about business and personal life. Dude, I fucking hope all of these dudes get divorced. Fucking, it sucks. These guys suck ass so much. But it's just dudes. They're sitting around the table, 2 angles, 3rd angle.
Yeah. Set up multiple cameras to catch their genuine reactions to their 100% heartfelt conversations.
Yeah, and it's. I remember I was like, I saw this, and then I shared it, and I added so one time. I don't know why, but I really get into here's my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5. I don't know why, but I love watching because I just want to see how other people, because a lot of those I will say a lot of those my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5, they are incredibly mundane and boring. So they actually, in those, in a weird way, while the setup is contrived, they are genuinely showing you what they did. And yeah. I always just get curious about that, because I'm always like, what if I lived in that kind of house? How would my day go?
Right.
I will say this. There's a lot of people who bitch that they don't have enough time after work. Yeah. And I'm like, stop making a fucking 4-course meal every night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It takes me 5 seconds to make quesadillas. But so what I was getting at is I saw those, and I had a funny idea for a fucking TikTok where it was like, I was going to do my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5, and I was going to go, here's me coming in. I got to put my boots over there so they don't get, and then I was slowly going to get into some, I don't know, go down some weird rabbit hole where you're like, and then the mundane nature of life hits me, and I have an existential crisis. And I was gonna do something funny like that.
What you actually do after work?
Yeah, what I actually it was gonna be my genuine 5 to 9. But I still was gonna record every step. So I was recording me like, I'm gonna change my clothes into my nighttime clothes, and I'm gonna get this food ready, and I'm gonna do this. And dude, I'm telling you, it was like the fucking effort just into that 60-second joke post of just all right, I set my camera up, and then I walked out my front door, closed the door, opened it back up, walked in. If you ever see a stationary camera, just know so much fucking effort went into that video.
Yeah.
And it's just it hit, when I was thinking about that, it just hit me how absolutely, it's honestly best to just, if you're not on these apps to just laugh about stuff or maybe see some sweet tits, you're like, dude, it's just going to be fucking brain rot that you're pumping in there.
It's going to be a home produced thing. Everybody's a Survivor Man now. Everybody's a guy just living a regular, Survivor Man was him. It was some Canadian fella that just got dropped off in the middle of nowhere. And then he would just have his own camera equipment and film it. That was the thing where I always appreciated watching that more than Bear Grylls, because it was him actually having to produce the show as he was also starring in the show.
Really?
But genuinely it was just to give the actual effect of him real life being alone. There was nobody else near him. So that is the only time I would actually think that style would be good, because otherwise, like you said, even because my Manny and I were just talking about those videos that are so lazy, the reaction videos that you see all the time, because you're either doing that where you're doing way too much work for a minute 15 or a minute video.
Yeah.
And then there's the other ones where they just play a really popular video, and then that's just them in the corner going,
just some girl with fat tits.
Or going
yeah,
what's happening behind me?
There's this one girl who does that, where her tits are so big you can see each individual vein in them.
Wonderful.
They're so big and fake, you can see all the veins in them. And then she'll just play the clip, and she'll be like, "Couldn't be my man," and then it's the end of it.
Yeah, and you're like, it's huge. It's crazy that's huge, but there's so
great
many
tits, man. But you got to give me something else.
Something else. That's what I'm saying. It's so even with this guy, you're a crying guy that looks really tough. Okay, then you got to go into more of your life, or just stop, because otherwise, if this is all it is, if it's just what you're crying to and what you're wearing, or normalize crying and wearing tough guy shirts or whatever the fuck theme it is. It's just so stupid because you are just jumping on a trend, but with nothing to actually offer it.
Yes. It's like, dude, you gotta give people something, man. You can't. That's what I learned the longer I was like doing stuff like this. And I've just been like, hey, no one's watching it. It's like, yeah, because you're just like you're asking for too much. You're not providing anyone with anything. Like you just need to give people a service. Don't just stand there and go, here's me in my outfit, and it's like, I don't know. Everyone just wants to get treated like a hot chick. And it's like, well, unless you're a fucking hot chick, stop. Like, learn a skill. If you're not a super hot chick, go learn a fucking skill. Because that's the thing. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, we were joking about it at Hooters, but, like, I don't know. Or on No More Heroes, we were joking about going to, or was it this? Whatever it was. I was joking about going to Hooters. And it's like, dude, don't get up your own ass about fucking Hooters. It's sick that, like, you can see some titties while you eat some chicken wings. But it's like, They get to do that. They get to do that because they're hot as shit.
Yeah.
You don't get to do that. Go learn. If you're not a hot chick, go learn a skill.
Yeah. I think there's just ultimately just people just put too much thought into not the right things. And I think everybody kind of is guilty of that to an extent, but eventually it's about being able to like not fall into that, because how many times I've seen like a video or a site like this, people that I know that are trying to jump into these trends, and then you get like 4 or 5 videos back to back that are like that. They do pretty good, but then they just stop doing it, and you're like, all right, so that was just a time in your life that you were like, you know what I mean? You're not one of those people. So like, don't pretend to be somebody you're not. And honestly, if this is who you are, then you're a dud. You know what I mean?
Can I tell you the funniest shit ever?
Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny. Like, do any of the comics you know in PA like have bumping, like are big on TikTok?
Yeah, some of them are like some of the worst comics that I know are actually really big on social media, on like Instagram and stuff. Probably TikTok too.
Yeah. So there's a couple Jersey boys who most of them are pretty funny, but they have like huge TikTok presences, and it's very funny. Like, there's this one dude at Pet Shop. I remember Nate bringing him up, and you were like, he's got this on TikTok. And dude, the first thing he said, he was like embarrassed about it. And that was just like, and then we had we were interacting with we were busting another one of our friends' balls Friday night at the Hooters show for having a fucking TikTok. And he like was clearly embarrassed about it. And we're like, you can just not have the TikTok.
You don't have to have it. Yeah.
Like, you can just stop doing TikTok.
Yeah. You don't
the funniest part is they were showing me this group chat, and they were trying to figure out what they were like, do you guys want to do anything for St. Patrick's Day? And then they were like, oh, I at one point, the one comic with the TikTok goes like, yo, he's like, that sucks. Like, we're fucking adults. And then someone takes a screenshot from a live he did where someone bought him. You know, you ever see those TikTok lives and they get the like fucking glasses on their face because someone paid for a fucking thing for that? They just send him doing TikTok to the group chat and go, let's be adults. Like, you have a fucking TikTok, retard. Shut up.
Yeah, don't talk about being an adult. You're not an adult.
Which I'm not even necessarily like against the fucking TikTok hustle, because there's a lot of like, I've seen some comics, like the Dem Boopers guys, Keegan and Colin. They have a very good, that shit's hilarious. My buddy Chris Williams and these other Connecticut comics have a really funny, and they're big on TikTok. Like, you can do it on TikTok and be very funny, but if it's gonna get brought up and you're gonna get embarrassed, like, you can't be embarrassed about it. Just like fucking own it. I don't know. Like, just
you own it. You do it. Like, if you do it, then you do it. But also realize we all think it's really silly, but it's okay. Hey, you know, be silly. But I think I see that, and when even when it's like 1 or 2 videos are at like a couple million, and you're like, damn, that's really good. But then you look at the rest of them, but even at the 2 million ones, you're like, this is shit. Like, this, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, it's funny because you can hit those trends, but it's still about consistency. And it seems like it's a harder job than just working on a skill. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like an actual skill. It seems like a job.
and it turns you into, it makes you subservient to trends because you aren't really like there's some TikToks that are very specific, but realistically your content's going to ebb and flow with what's popular at, like, literally just what's popular at the time. Most people on TikTok are just following whatever they just hop on a certain trend and stuff. So then you become like, well, fuck, I was trying to remember one of them I was watching where you become, because they have like a thing in all their TikToks. So then you get because you don't have any skills. So you get pigeonholed in these very specific things. So then you end up just becoming very subservient to this app because you get so deep into it and you're so public and shit and you haven't fucking learned how to do anything.
It's just, it literally is just a job, but that you're not guaranteed pay, because if something switches in the meantime, and they don't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if something switches with the fucking algorithm, or you get fucking blackballed out of nowhere or some shit, like, I don't understand any of it. So there maybe there is a bit of a skill or something to the knowledge of how to navigate it, but
there's a skill, definitely, but it's a very
fickle over it, though.
Yeah, yes and no. It's just like, it's a very, the big problem with the app too is it's very like, your popularity can be very fickle, because like I've seen some of these dudes on TikTok who will have like million, they'll like have 1 million followers or something like that, or they'll have even like, honestly, even like 100,000 will seem like a lot, and then you'll see them do like a TikTok live, and they'll have like 100 people in there, and you'll be like, oh, this doesn't, because people get really enticed by the huge numbers, but you're like, this doesn't translate to much real world success. I mean, it does with certain people, but that's usually just young, hot people. And it's like, well, they're the ones who should be doing this. Fucking young, hot, vapid retards should get popular on the Vapid app. Like, that's, you know. All right.
It's not meant for us old people with stomach problems.
Exactly. And I gotta go shit because I have stomach problems. We can talk in circles about how fucking stupid TikTok is. So let's end it. Pat, this has been great. Everyone, this has also been great. I've been great. You've been great. Everyone involved has been fucking great. Until next time. Also, I will be in Austin this week, so the next Every Time I Die reaction will be late. It will be late, so we apologize. It will be late. We apologize on that.
By might just an hour, right? Are you just talking about just a time change, or
an hour and some days?
Yeah.
We will figure it out, though. Until next time, I love you all. Have a good one. Be about it. Peace.